Hello there. Uh, I don't really know what to particularly say here. Why do they have all the tables and like game stuff out here? It's just like I forget. I know they're having like a few things happening today. Oh, I see. The Ria Fest. Okay. I don't remember if I. Okay, it's part of the homecoming dance slash celebration. Okay, that's cool.
Wait.
Yeah, so I'll be going to that later. This, I think that's at like 8, I believe. Yeah, but so going to that. Hopefully it'll be fun. I don't really dance. I don't really know how to. I just ask my younger brother if you ever see him, if you really care about particular subject. Most of you probably don't. Wouldn't blame you. Greater concerns than can this small YouTuber how well does he dance? Yeah, you probably have more pressing matters than that. Sorry. But come on, turn red light, bro. Yeah, so I'll be going to that dance later. I forgot to tell you all about that in the last video. I said turn. Okay. Well, I did say turn red. I didn't specify for both of them because people over there, they just went on by. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I'll be going to that. So the reason I was a little more happy, as I'm sure anyone watching this can probably tell, it's because I speak clearly, bro. So I met with one of my friends there at breakfast. And then they were kind of asking about, my YouTube channel a little bit, and kind of what I've done in Minecraft recently. So I was telling them about that, and then I also told them about some of the very funny, but also extremely annoying and aggravating glitches and bugs of Bedrock Edition, especially when I played on there as my main edition of the game. Which, actually, speaking of that, is a little crazy to think because I've mostly been playing Java for like almost a year ish. Like I'm getting there. I still have some time to go, but I didn't really start playing it until I would say like was it like Christmas or like the day after Christmas? No. It was Christmas Eve. I don't know. Somewhere in that time. But I had played Java Edition before. It'd be kind of fun to go back and play one of the worlds that I had from then. Even if it was just for like a few episodes or something. I don't know. I don't know how much seriously I commit to that, but it's kind of a cool idea. So like, for example, I have this, I had this world that I started on 1.17, I believe, and then it got moved all the way, and then I had it until like 1.18 or 1.19, I don't know. And I will say it's really weird because it was a really weird time for me because, you know, here I was used to, of course I'd played tons of Minecraft then. I had, and I still do, right? But I mostly had played Bedrock Edition. And so I kind of really knew like the feel of that. And I was also really new to playing Minecraft on a computer. Now to me, it's like, you know, it's like pretty normal, right? I mean, it's also admittedly still really cool. I actually really enjoy. I think Minecraft is best as a computer game. As good as a console one. Or I don't really like Minecraft as a mobile game. I mean, it works, but it's just not particularly what I love. If they could do it right, I might actually be willing to buy it and play it. But honestly, you know, I'm not really interested in playing most amount of games on my phone. I mean, sometimes it's nice, but generally I'm not in the mood for that. But yeah, so anyways, with the I played, I don't know, just kind of my Synchro. Okay, well, hopefully if you're interested in me talking about some more Minecraft type of things, continue watching the video. If you're enjoying this, make sure to, you know, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, that good stuff, you know, thank you. And yeah, if you don't want to hear about it, either just I don't know, skip till later in the video, or just stop watching. I don't know, but yeah. So that's kind of the story is going here. Like, I was really used to the feel of Bedrock Edition, and you know, I really wanted to play on Java Edition, and I still did. But there's some really like weird things. So let me talk about this. So one was that I think I was not used to the sensitivity level that you have with keyboard and mouse, like versus on a controller. And so I won't lie, whenever I've gone back and played Minecraft with a controller, especially if it's on the Legacy Console Edition, where it's even worse than on Bedrock, it feels like, whoa, I'm moving so slowly. Like, Jesus Christ. But, so, there. You know, it still happens, to be honest. But, right, so I played mostly Bedrock, and I had Java Edition on, I was on my account, I had bought it, but the thing was, it was on my dad's computer. Or I guess I should say the home computer, because my dad didn't really bring it everywhere, and it wasn't really exclusively his. It's kind of just this generic one that we all sort of used together at like different times for different things. But it was the first way that I played Java Edition, and so it's kind of really special when you think back to that. So yeah. So let me talk about some things that was really weird with sensitivity. So for example, I was not used to the combat system. You know, I had thought in my head, you know, and I still do, that I definitely prefer the Java combat system over the Bedrock one for a lot of reasons, and I would love to talk about that, and I might, but I can also continue the story on here. But yeah, it was really weird. I also didn't have a mouse for about like a month or two at very first. So it was weird having to use like the touchpad I think that's what it's called, instead of it. And it's honestly much worse than just using a regular old mouse, because you can't, it's slower. You can't really like move as fast or responsively, and you can't really like, I mean, with a mouse you have like left and right click, you know, and you also have like the scroll function to go back and forth to the different items in your hotbar, right? You know, it makes it really fast, really efficient. You know, you also use the mouse to turn too, and you get really high speeds with that. But you know, I wasn't, you know, raising a touchpad, and then even later on when I did get my own first mouse and I bought it myself, I think, you know, it was honestly like really weird. I was like, whoa, it feels like it is much more, I guess one just being, it was much more sensitive than I was used to. I don't know why I keep on saying the same thing here. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Another thing was with elytras, or elytras. I'm not really sure how you pronounce those correctly. So, great item. I definitely really like using them. They make so many things so much easier, so much more convenient. Instead of having to spend hours trying to get from one place in your world to another, you know, you can just spend like a few minutes usually, or if things are much further away, then, you know, maybe a good, you know, 15-20 minutes at most. You can travel a lot of distance in that much time. You know, but I was not really used to the way that elytras worked, as well as the fact that and I'm not particularly bothered by this, but just a sort of small difference between Bedrock and Java is that, so on Bedrock, when you're using an elytra, you can like toggle it off, and then you'll kind of just flying back down. If you use it right, if you get the right time and place, you can actually pull off some like pretty good ways of like setting yourself back down on the ground again. Especially if you do it like over water, or maybe like a slime block or something. You know, or like, especially if you're trying to get to like really narrow spaces, it makes it much easier at times. But in Java, you can't do that. You just have to glide all the way down. You have to kind of like circle around things until you can lay yourself down. However, it's not really something that I think about at all, to be honest. Like, I think I've only really thought about it like just a few times, especially most when I was just starting to use the elytra. Another weird thing, it wasn't so much Java as it was just as this another problem, and this was that since it wasn't on, it was my account, but it wasn't on a device that I own, or at least one that I had my own like computer login. Like, whenever I wanted to play it, I had to ask my parents, like, hey, can you log in? Can I, you know, and whatnot. And so they'd have to try to remember what the password was, put that in, and you know, it wasn't like I could just be like, oh, hey, you know, like now, or for much of my senior year of high school, where, you know, oh, I could just, or some of my senior year, not the entire thing, but like half of it. Kind of weird thing is it's so recent that I used that first computer, because I used that before I got my own for Christmas, even though that thing is not performing particularly well, and it really struggles to play the game at a higher performance, but nonetheless. So I didn't have any of the worlds that I really wanted to play on there, so I was kind of stuck, because The thing was, I didn't have my own computer at the time, and while I did have my own account on Bedrock and on Java, like I owned both editions, you know, I didn't have them on the same device. I tried to get Bedrock Edition on that computer there, because I thought, you know, hey, you know, if I figured this whole process where you could actually convert a world from one edition of the game to the other one. And that was actually really novel to me, because I guess I had thought for some time, and it was like quite a while ago, even though it was only like not even like 2 years ago, really. But, you know, I thought, well, hey, with my long-term survival world, you know, I had it on Bedrock at the time, on our Xbox. I thought, well, either I'm gonna have to either give this up. I'm just say, okay, well, that was a nice world, and now that I have Java Edition, I'll just, you know, I'll just create a whole new world on there. Or do I say, I like Java Edition and it's fun, I like it more than Bedrock, but because I have my main world on Bedrock, I'm just going to continue playing that more. And the thing was, it was kind of hard. You know, I knew that I could play both editions, but I kind of wanted to decide on which one I was going to play more often, because the thing was, I was kind of thinking ahead to, you know, here during college and after, when I wouldn't be home, and I wanted to bring my Minecraft worlds with me wherever I go, right? Or at least like the main few that I really care about. There's some worlds that I kept on the Xbox, you know, and they were cool. They're cool and all, but I didn't really care the most for them. I might try to convert them over someday, you know. Although I think some of those things might be on the marketplace, and I don't know if you can actually convert a marketplace world over to Java. I don't know if you're allowed to do that or not. Although it would be really cool if you did, and if it actually still worked somehow. I'm a little doubtful because of the difference in redstone commands and whatnot, as well as I don't know if they particularly want or like people bringing over stuff that was made as like marketable content to just be, you know, played for free. But whatever. Well, I think at the same time though, most of the marketplace stuff I have is a bunch of like the free random things. And actually, in all honesty, it's kind of actually been quite a while since I like seriously have played Bedrock Edition. Like, I've played it a few times here and there, and I will say, you know, it's cool to go back and play. I feel really kind of nostalgic for that, and that's what I mostly played for, you know, quite some time. But I don't know. At the same time, it's like, you know, the longer I play it again, the more I start to feel frustrated and kind of re-experience what, you know, I didn't like about Bedrock Edition, or what frustrated me about it, such as the, you know, lack of offhand, you know, usability beyond just 5 items, which only 2 of them actually really work. The other 3 are pretty much useless. Well, no, there's 6 items, and 3 of them are useful, and that's maps, shields, and totems. But the other 3 items, arrows, fire rockets, and nautilus shells, are completely useless to put in your offhand. And yes, I know in Bedrock Edition, yeah, you can put the firework rockets in your offhand and you can shoot those in a crossbow, but like, let's be real here. How many people actually do that? Especially in a main survival mode. I'm not talking PvP situations here, like on a server or whatever. I'm talking like just in your average survival world experience. Like, most people just use fucking regular arrows. Like, and yeah, some people use tipped arrows, you know, if you're really dedicated. And there's actually the benefit on Bedrock where if, and I really wish Java had this, where if you put a potion in a cauldron, which you can't actually even do that on Java, you can only put water, lava, or powder snow in a cauldron. You know, that if you clicked on it with arrows, those would become tipped arrows. That was a really cool thing. I wish I discovered that much earlier on, because that would have been so helpful. Especially with fighting like a lot of different mobs and whatever. But anyway. Yeah, so it's kind of just so weird stuff of like, I didn't have my worlds on that. I didn't know if I could convert them over or not. I wasn't used to sensitivity levels, things with getting used to the combat system and the way that elytras worked. And I don't know. I guess there's at least a few other things, but maybe I might talk more about those later. We'll see. But anyways, see ya.